Don't rage trade just yet. Sit down and strap in for the ultimate Supercoach podcast. It's time to win your leagues and dominate your mates. This is the Dual Position Podcast, hosted by Whisperer and SCAdrianasaurus.
The mighty Melbourne Storm, as Ado alluded to last episode, knocked out by some team.
The Green Machine, mate. We just love playing those Melbourne Storms. Although they did eliminate us in a prelim a couple of years ago after our grand final year where we got robbed. I won't get into that with you, but they're a good team. Look, I think they've had transition periods and they're always right up near the top, aren't they? And if they get a year where everyone's healthy and fit, they're going to be surely there and abouts. I know they've lost a lot of troops, but I think they were all washed up, weren't they?
Yeah. The Bromwich boys, the Kafusis of the world, all washed up. When we spoke about the Cowboys yesterday, you had them in 4th. I had them in 6th. Today, you've got Melbourne Storm in 6th. I've got them in 4th. Bit of a switcheroo.
We've done a switcheroo. I mean, they're not in 4th for me because, you're replacing... these guys who've done it all in the game and played rep footy, and you're putting Trent Lauriero in there.
Come on, mate. Put some respect on Tarek Sims' name. Thank you very much.
Tarek Sims, he's like 32 as well. They've replaced an old thing with an old thing. No, I like Tarek actually as a player. I've always been a big fan. I just think when you lose as much as you have, they didn't make the top 4 last year. They butchered it, didn't they? And that's probably the reason they were eliminated. They're actually probably a way better team than the Raiders. They just had one go at it, and we're the team that I know that Bellyache would have just gone, no, not the Raiders, as soon as he knew that it was do or die. This year, I just think maybe losing. I mean, they've got an absolutely terrific spine if they're all healthy. The big question, a la Tommy Turbo, is Pat. Have you had a look at Pat's knee? What would happen to it?
Yeah, it was. I saw it on Instagram. He had some contraption on it. It was like pulsating. It looked like some kind of
cracks all
some
over
BDSM device.
Did that?
Look, you say that the best spine. We have 4 guns. The 4 guns are the spine. It's probably the best spine in the comp. Unlike Manly, I think they can survive without them. Now, I have a question posed to you. We know Cameron Munster's a gun. We're not here to discuss his value. Do we see regression in Cam Munster because he's now signed a new contract? Last year was a contract year, re-signed, who knows?
A little chubbier from what I saw as well. I think he's definitely back on the beers.
Don't tell me that. He's in my team. Fuck.
Oh, Cam Munster's back on the beers. Last year, I knew he wasn't on the beers. I knew he wasn't there for round 1, but once I knew he wasn't on the beers, I sat in for round 1 and went, Cam Munster's my man. And it worked. I don't think I traded him all year. I'm not on him this year. He's a gun, and he will be a gun still this year. But for 848,
yeah, I found the cash for him just because. Will he stay there? I don't know.
I don't even know what your team is. If he starts in fullback, I'll find a way.
Oh yeah, 100%. I'm banking on the fact that he does start fullback. But if he doesn't, I don't know. I feel like I can just pick him and stick him there. Not here to discuss Cam Munster too much.
He's a gun. He's a gun. He'll still get gun scores. He's one of those halves that has the beautiful floor. He'll never score bad for you.
No. Very much a hog as well. Loves a run. Loves a tackle.
Yeah, loves a run.
Harry Grant's 817K. Now, I don't know how much you want to read into it.
You're a wizard, Harry.
I don't know how much you want to read into it, but without Papenhuyzen, he only averages 65. With Papenhuyzen, averages about 95. So
Harry Grant is getting some regular first grade. He doesn't need Papenhuyzen anymore. He's growing as a player. What you saw last year of all the players that we discuss in this thing about, they don't do this with this player. Harry Grant, he's just gone, I don't need anyone anymore. I don't need anyone. I'm going to do it. And
he's so good.
Harry Grant is the captain of the team. He's in charge, and he'll do whatever he wants. Harry Grant is the best hooker you could possibly have, and if you're going to treat yourself, you will buy a Harry Grant, and you'll never. You can just black that part of your screen out. You don't even need to see how the score's going.
I genuinely think if you picked Papenhuyzen and Grant, if you picked Grant and Cheese, you don't have to touch your hookers all year.
Not at all. He's such a great player. I think he's getting his hands on the ball more. He's directing sort of attack because he's such an attacking hooker. Cheese is gone. There's no one stealing his thunder. Everyone talks about Robson being a good pick, even if there's someone on the bench. Harry's getting all the minutes this year.
100%.
He's getting just washed in those minutes. I love him as a pick. I've had him in my team in and out, and I've used him, but he's going to be a gun this year. I reckon he's all right. Here's a big spicy one.
Fuck, here we
80
go.
plus.
That's not very spicy because he averaged 80 last year.
Did he average 80?
Yeah.
Did he get plus 80? All right. Well, I'll say 90. Can
All right, that's spicy. Okay.
All right, 85, 80, 90.
All right. Yeah, this is why the Dual Position podcast is, one of the best podcasts on the planet. We provide very high in depth details. Like Cam Munster is pretty good. So is Harry Grant.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Let's discuss Papenhuyzen, because if anything, miracles come true, he's available for round 1. 951k. I can't do it on principle because the prick was my captain when he went down.
Yeah, I mean, is he the most expensive player in the game?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. If you're going to pick the most expensive player in the game, they need to be fit enough to crack a walnut with their ass crack. They need to be tip top, strong. He's not. He's gone over to this America thing. He may come back and be, he may score well, but with that knee, the big concern is whether he can get to the speed that he can get to.
I just think he loses so much of that, like just the snap factor that he had.
Yeah, the little explosive off the mark. The first 15 meters, I reckon there's no faster in the game. And that is a real asset for him because he's a small body. I'm not touching him. I'm not touching him.
I didn't want to pay 1.2. I was very anti-turbo last year because I wanted to be 100% sure if I was paying that much money. And even if Papenhuyzen was named round 1, I'm not going there. I can't. I never like using the phrase, I'm not picking a play because he's injured. That's why I'll always go back to the turbo wagon. But Papenhuyzen needs to show me that he can just get through 10 games without a niggle, because as an owner, watching him just go for a hit up, you just wince every time. You're like, fuck, please don't get injured. Please don't get hurt.
It's him and watching him in turbo. The only problem is that Papenhuyzen still costs $951.
You can buy nearly 2 turbos for 1 Pap. So.
You buy 2 turbos for a Papenhuyzen. We're doing maths here. But no, you're not going to buy. You're not going to. If anyone takes a pump on what's his name, Papenhuyzen,
don't come crying to us.
Send me a DM and we'll throw a bet down.
Yeah, if you pick Pap, don't come crying to me when he inevitably fails. In saying that, clip this up when he scores 120 round 1.
Yeah, definitely.
Jahrome Hughes, we spoke about him the other day as well. Both huge fans. If you want to pot up and don't go Hines, don't hate the Hughes shout. I think, like we said a couple of days ago, Supercoach Guns posted, I think he averaged 85 without Papenhuyzen in the side. So some very, very enticing numbers from Jahrome Hughes.
Yeah, I do love a bit of Jahrome.
I've never,
he's a good
honestly,
player.
I've played Supercoach for 7 years now, and I know he hasn't been relevant for that long, but I've never owned him, ever.
Oh, yeah, I love me a bit of a Jahrome. I love a running half. If he was a goal kicker, that would be perfect.
Oh.
I don't know how good he is.
Hey, you remember when the Storm went through that weird phase where Munster couldn't kick one, so they gave Harry Grant a couple of conversions? I'm surprised Hughes just didn't.
Harry Grant, a goal kicking. Harry on his 80, he would average 90. Look, I like Jahrome as an option because there are definitely concerns when it comes to going with a Hines and a Cleary. Now, if you do decide to go that avenue, there are going to be sacrifices that you make over the year to have those 2 players, and I think he's a nice alternative.
And it's obviously an obvious thing here, but Jahrome Hughes is a Kiwi as well. Just another tick in his book.
Sure, bro. Sorry, that's my Kiwi accent.
Another tick in the book
Beach Disney.
that he won't miss any time over Origin.
Yep.
We
like Jahrome. We like him.
I don't agree with this. I agree with it if he's playing on the wing or in the centre. I don't agree with this. I'm sure if he lines up at fullback, you change your stance on Nick Meaney.
I do.
Yeah.
I think if they do, if Paps is, I think if it's a short-term thing for Paps, they will probably just go with Meaney. The reason being that they're like, well, it's 3 rounds, so we'll just do Meaney because he does it very competently.
I
don't want to upset the Munster.
I need 5-6 rounds. I need 5-6 rounds of Meaney to be viable. I can't do 3.
Yeah. I reckon. Well, so when do you think Paps is going to come back?
I probably think 3.
Yeah, I think if it's going to be 3 weeks, they'll probably go with Meaney at fullback because they're like, well, Munster and Hughes, that combo is so important, and Meaney's not going to ever let us down. If they're looking at 5 to 7 rounds, I reckon they go Munster. If it's 5 rounds, I think they go Munster because they're like, that's too long to be relying on Amini in the fullback position. He's very comparable in the 6 and the 1. I just reckon if it's long term, they go Munster because he's absolutely dynamic in the fullback position. So for me, Meany, I think, based on when I think Papenhuyzen's going to come back, I think he won't be in the fullback position.
Yeah, if you tell me Meany was lining,
long.
if you tell me Meany got 6 weeks at fullback, then I'd probably own him as well. But yeah, understandable why you've chucked him as mum's base
I've got him
the
in
scenario.
there just because I think he will be out. He might start. He could trick some people to bring him in because he might be starting there in round 1, 2, 3.
Yeah,
I just reckon that could be a mistake.
I think we can brush over a couple of these cash cows. Not too sure how relevant Jack Howarth is.
When's he going to get some of this money they're paying him? Well, is he going to play or what?
I've got a little bit of intel from some Melbourne that apparently has an attitude problem, and that's
does he?
Not favourable with old Bellyache, but he's young. He's young.
$500K a year. He's just like fuck. I was like, screw you, Bellamy. Getting paid enough. I don't have to like you.
No sponsors right now to Monday swearing, but
I actually am seeing him in a lot of teams.
I just think because he's cheap.
I don't think he's going to get the run personally.
No, I mean, you look at a 2RF centre wing bottom dollar, of course people are going to pick him, but no, not for me. Nor is Tom Eisenhuth, despite being my team mascot a couple of years ago. I just don't see any viable option for him.
Oh, I have heard whispers myself.
He's training there, but they can fuck off. I just don't believe it.
No, well, I mean, we're talking about if old mate from the Cowboys gets picked to start,
Jack Goss.
If the Goss gets picked to start, which is probably very unlikely, let's be honest. But if it is Tom Eisenhuth, I know that Belly likes him.
Oh, he just likes boring players. That's why Josh King got fucking 55 minutes a game.
Dallas Johnson. He's trying to find that 13. But I think Tom Eisenhuth, if he did start in the second row, you could do a hell of a lot worse. 100%. 279.
Available.
I don't think they'll do it. I really think
wing.
it's low percentage that he will.
Available at centre wing.
That's right. Center row. He's in the center wing. He's played 50 minutes.
All right, I'm not seeing the love for Remus Smith. I don't get it. I mean, before injury he sucked. After injury, it's whatever.
He's got some heritage about him. He's got a good name behind him, and he's actually shown glimpses of being a good player. I think the reason why people are going him is because he looks like a likely thing, doesn't he?
Oh, I mean, he looks good.
A lot of the things we're seeing are not a likely thing.
He looks good and he plays at the Melbourne Storm, but he just doesn't score points. I just don't know. Even before the injury last year, he wasn't fantastic. So I'm not keen on Remus Smith at all. Are you?
I've got him in my team.
Yeah, I talked you out of him. I talked you out of him a couple of months ago. I remember I talked you out of him a couple of months ago, or a couple of weeks ago. Sorry. And
who have you got in your bloody centers? Have you got an expensive player in there?
I have Hayes Perham. I have Chance Nickel. I've got Chance Nickel Cookstar.
Yeah.
I have Hammer, and I've got Tommy Talau.
I mean, Tommy's not even a sure thing, and I bet your Remus scores more than Hammer.
Oh, probably. More than Hammer. I thought you were going to say more than Tobby.
No, I like Tommy Talau as a player. I really do. If Tommy Talau got the run, I'll turn Remus into Tommy Talau because I like.
Well, I think you may as well do that now because I'm pretty sure he's going to start.
All right. Well,
I've heard some whispers that old Trent Lahero might have locked down an edge position at 365k.
Ooh, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of chat. I've seen Alisi Katoa in a lot more teams. I've heard Loiro is a chance. Whoever gets the run out of Alicia Katoa or Loiro, couldn't you do a hell of a lot worse than
I don't see a world where
5 and 411?
It could actually be both, to be honest.
Well,
they both could get edges because that sort of goes hand in hand with Tarek Sims, who's being looked at a bit of a middle. So
yeah, and they're saying they put him at lock. And he is getting older, so there's a possibility. That's what we're trying to do with Elliot Whitehead at the Raiders. If it's Loiro and Alicia Katoa starting in the second row, you've got to grab one of them.
But who? Do you go Lahera or do you go Katoa with the upside? Because
I like Katoa as a player.
Strikes me as he strikes me as the kind of guy that he'll have 3 missed tackles and Bellamy be like, "Oh fuck, see ya."
Katoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, Loiro is probably more of the mold that the Bellamy.
It just doesn't have the upside.
Yeah, he doesn't have the upside. I think that Bellamy is going to get Katoa. He's going to get Katoa into it as an elite player.
Yeah, this is a narrative that you've been spinning all preseason. I want to see it.
I have. I'm so big on Katoa. If both of those guys start in the second row, I'm going Katoa.
Yeah.
I'm going to pay the extra 40K.
That's that's fair. I so would I, to be honest. And Christian Welch, 464K.
Yep.
In a lot of people,
pick.
I don't see it.
I've seen him on the training track, and he seems to be running, Welch fast.
Hey, I just prefer.
Isn't he a Harvard graduate?
I just prefer Gilbert. I just prefer Thompson. I just prefer Saifidi. Welch.
Prefer Saifidi? I've gone Saifidi personally myself because he's try-scoring front row.
Also, not coming off the back of a fucking Achilles injury. Let's not forget that.
Those wretched things, yeah. But he seems to be fit. I think he's had enough time to do it. Are you saying that if you see him in teams, you're like, well, that's
no. Like, I'm not calling him a trap. I just think there's better options.
Yeah, I agree. I've gone Dan Saifidi and I've gone Gilbert. I prefer those guys. Would you prefer Lindsay Collins to him?
No, I'd probably prefer Welch.
Yeah, so we know where he sort of sits in the pecking order.
I would probably rank them. Gilbert 1, Saifidi 2, Luke Thompson 3, Christian Welch 4, Collins 5. In that sort of mold.
I'm probably in the same ballpark. So it's one of those ones where I think he's a talented player. He's Origin sort of level, isn't he? So it'd be a punt though, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah, 100%, because the history with those injuries. These last couple of episodes have been off the rails. Ado was about 10 beers deep, and I'm just hot.
They'll be viewable. They'll definitely be viewable. Ado's on the beers. I was like, can I leave this podcast and go grab another? I only brought in 4, but anyway, I'll be right.
Mate, after the amount of beers I watched you consume on the weekend, I'm surprised that you can still drink more.
Yeah, the cricket. No. I mean, I spilled a lot of them too. So,
mate, my leg. For anyone listening, so Ado was sat on my left hand side. I remember I took my jeans off when I got home, and my left jean leg was so stiff, because there was just so much dried fucking beer from Ado.
Oh, mate, someone who was sitting next. It was Kando. He was sitting next to me, and he pointed out my wallet was 4 rows ahead.
Yeah, right. And I know how much cash you had on you that day as well. So
yeah, so
Jesus.
Well, anyway, merry whatever. Enjoy the storm.
Enjoy the storm. Yes. Fuck, that was a weird way to round up this episode.
That's how I've rounded it up. Love you all.
We've got 2 more teams to do, and then we'll be straight into the position podcasts where. That's going to be our bread and butter. That's going to be your traditional Supercoach podcast that you're going to expect from us. Big in-depth analysis of all the players. The teams have been great to do a brief overview, but the position podcasts are really where you're going to hopefully pick up a lot of insight from people who try and call themselves experts, Nato and I. So
I'll come in sober.
Enjoy the next 2 episodes. Enjoy the next 2 episodes, and footy's back very, very shortly. So we'll
exciting.
Yeah. All right, mate. We'll talk soon.
Legends. Thanks.
Bye.